feel like doing a snake. Hey, sister, how you doing?
Good, sister. How are you doing?
Good, good. I think by the time we taking this, it's been a holiday and we've had a break, so it's good to see you.
Yes, it's good. We are back into it.
Mhm.
So, welcome, y'all, to another episode of Real Women, Real Talk. I am one of your hosts, Shavon Carter, one of the facilitators of Real Women, and I am joined by who that is.
Trenace Richardson, and I am the founder of Real Women, and so glad to be here with you all.
Yeah, so we are inching into the double digits, y'all. This is episode 11. 11. So crazy. I'm so excited. Things have been going really well for us. And if this is your first time tuning in, we're Real Women, Real Talk. And this podcast is an extension of the organization that my sister, Dr. Trenace Richardson, founded called Real Women Rock. And we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization that exists to help women create safe spaces so they can do real work on themselves. So we have sister circles in different areas, in the Hampton Roads area, in DC, in Maryland, and hopefully an area near you. Because our desire is to host these sister circles all over the world. We think that every woman should have an opportunity to be a part of a sister circle. And so this podcast is an extension of those sister circles. So we hope that you enjoy it. We hope that you feel seen and heard and understood and entertained a little bit because we like to laugh. You'll see that. But we like to have a good time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Welcome.
Okay. So let's get into our first segment, sister. Real talk. How you doing?
Girl, I'm still dancing. I'm good.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, I've just decided that I get to choose. I know we've been saying this on our episodes, but I choose joy. I've been feeling really good lately, and anything that I have control over, I am working on. Anything I don't have control over, oh well. So I've been doing good.
Yeah. Ease and flow. Dr. Vicky
Oh,
Johnson. Ease and flow.
hello, Dr. Vicky. How you doing?
Listen, I'm doing good. I am doing really good. So, by the time of at the time of this taping, we just came off of Thanksgiving,
Hmm.
and I want to talk about that.
Okay.
That's our real talk for today.
Okay.
So, I and my significant other, we
Mhm.
cooked Thanksgiving this year.
Is
Yay.
this your first time?
No, so this is our third time cooking, but this is the first time in my new home. I talked about this in a previous episode, but it's a nice cooking kitchen. It's big with a long island and it just makes you want to cook in it. So it was something different about this Thanksgiving. So we had collard greens, cabbage, sweet potatoes,
Mhm.
baked chicken, ham, turkey, green beans,
Yes, sir.
baked beans,
Right.
macaroni and cheese, dressing, all the things.
Talk that talk.
And yeah, and I just felt like a grown woman. I know I'm grown. I'm 45, about to be 46, but I just felt so grown in the kitchen. Like we started on Wednesday and we finished on Thursday, but it just felt really good to be able to cook and prepare. And I had family coming in town. And so it just really felt good. I think I was channeling my grandmother's energy, like being in the in the kitchen. So it was great. Yeah. So
That is
that's how I'm doing.
beautiful, wonderful. Like transition into your new home, hosting,
Yeah.
inviting family for Thanksgiving, and it's
Yeah.
such a tradition for most of us to have Thanksgiving in certain places. So it's almost
Yeah.
like you're starting something new.
Exactly. So it felt really, really good. So I shared that because I want to know from you, sister, are you the cooking type for the holidays or is just like, no, thank you?
So if you are in your grown womanhood by
Mhm.
cooking and all that.
Yeah.
I must be the rebellious teenager.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't I don't want to. I don't want it.
Somebody else to do it. No.
Get somebody else to do it. No, really, there are certain things that I like to cook.
Okay.
And I have my mother and I laugh about this all the time because when she was cooking and I was supposed to be watching her and my grandmother, I was off trying to sing somewhere or act somewhere, and she let me do it. She didn't make me stand beside her and watch her. So it's her fault. It's not my fault. It's her fault.
No.
And I have learned some things, and what I tend to cook are healthier dishes because that's what I wanted to learn to fix. So this Thanksgiving, we have done this for a long while now that my husband and the men in our lives do the cooking. And so my husband does the bird normally. And then his brother does a lot of the sides. And usually I contribute a vegetable or two and, something else. And this year I didn't even do the vegetables. I did a cornbread, my mother's recipe for cornbread. So I did something and we hosted. So that's something that I get points for that.
Right.
That's, so no, I get somebody else to do it.
Get somebody else to do it, and that is your business. That is fine.
Let me tell you. Can I tell you? There's so much pressure to cook for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Like any other day, but when people sit down for Thanksgiving dinner, it's either got to be good or not.
Yeah.
I don't want that kind of pressure.
Who made the mac and cheese? Who made the potato salad? Who made the greens?
Exactly.
Because they're going to talk about it.
They're going to talk about it. That day, she made that stuff.
Right.
No, thank you.
Oh my God. And I want to talk more about that in our next segment, but we're not going to get there just yet. So, okay. All right. So we talked about Thanksgiving. What about Christmas? Do you all cook or anything for Christmas?
Nothing major. We still eat the way we normally eat. So it's not like Thanksgiving dinner. We usually one of our family members usually has a Christmas Eve party. And then 9 times out of 10, we do our Christmas morning together. And then we go to my husband's, my mother-in-law's. We go to her godmother-in-law. We go to her house, and she does cooking. She's an amazing cook and does it probably just as well as Thanksgiving, but she doesn't do as much. But yeah, at home we're just kind of chilling.
Yeah, I don't have a tradition for Christmas. Definitely not cooking. Just one time a year. That was a lot. It was fun, but just one time a year is enough. So yeah, I don't have it. I like to chill, maybe have pajamas, watch Christmas movies, that kind of stuff for Christmas. So.
Are there games during the holiday?
Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving Day there were 3 games. I don't think there are any for Christmas, but I can't remember. But if it is, I'll definitely be watching because I love football.
Oh, girl.
Okay, so while we're in the spirit of Thanksgiving and just talking about family, I want to also talk about in this Real Talk segment, what are you grateful for, sister?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. And sometimes it feels cliche during this time of year, but when you sit back and think about it, such an important question. And so the first things that come to mind, life and health, because I think people who don't have the better portion of their health, that becomes the most important thing if you don't. I heard somebody say recently, you don't really appreciate walking until you can't.
I know that's right.
Yeah, running until you can't. So, so I start there, and of course, family. So health and then family. Grateful for everybody who has chosen to love me and all of me, and
Yeah.
whether I've known them all my life or whether they've just come to my life in the recent past. I'm grateful for who feels like family to me.
Mm.
But then the last thing, to be very honest with you, is I am grateful for the journey of discovering more of me.
That's good.
Yeah, the excavation process that I've been on
Mm-hmm.
um, for at least a decade, if not a decade and a half now,
Mm-hmm.
and even before that. But it's been a much more intentional effort to figure me out and
Mm-hmm.
and to live out loud
Yeah.
who I really am. And so I'm really grateful for that journey because it's taught me a lot. It hasn't been easy, but it's been worth
Yeah. So worth it. So worth
it.
it. I echo that. What I am grateful for, the first thing that comes to mind is peace of mind.
Mhm.
I am grateful for my peace because there were many years where I didn't feel inner peace,
Mhm.
where I felt tormented, where I felt guilty, where I just felt depressed. So when I can have days where I am just so good, oh, and it just makes me want to cry because I am just grateful for my peace.
Mhm.
Because I can literally say and really believe it, like I am in a good space.
Mhm.
I am loving myself and it feels amazing. And to be able to say that and mean it
Mhm.
means the world to me. So yeah, that's what I'm grateful for. Yeah.
That's so
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
So good. And I think that at some point in our lives, if you had asked us this question, if someone
Mhm.
had asked us, I think our answers may have looked or felt differently. But
Yeah.
it feels good to be in this season, I think, to be
Mhm.
thankful for things beyond a lot of surface stuff. So,
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So okay. So if you're watching this or if you're listening, let us know what you're grateful for. And also, when we're talking about cooking, what your holiday traditions are when it comes to cooking. But yeah, let us know what you're grateful for, whether it's in the comments, send us an email, info@realwomenrock.org, or hit us up on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, because we're there too.
love
All right. So, are you ready for a deep dive, sister?
I am. I've been missing these since the Thanksgiving break. Yes.
We can go for a little swim, maybe scuba diving,
Hmm.
in the ocean. So let's talk about growth. That's what
Ooh,
we're gonna talk
that's
about
one
today.
of my favorite words.
Yes.
Really is.
So yeah, because and I was thinking about this topic because of what I just shared regarding cooking. So my mother, my stepfather, and my brother came to from Florida. They flew from Florida to spend Thanksgiving with us. And then also my godmother, who basically just took me in when I moved up here about 22 years ago. She took me in and she's been like that mother, that I don't have because my mother lives in Florida. So just having both of my moms here and them tasting the food and them giving me compliments about the food. Like they were like, everything that I'm tasting is so good. Apparently, I can do yams good now. And the dressing, it was my first time I made cornbread dressing, but my godmother was like, "This is almost as good as my dressing." I was like, "Oh my God, really?" So just the compliments, it meant so much coming from them because they cook and my stepfather also. And so it just felt really good. But it made me think about how you were talking about the rebellious teenager.
Mhm.
When I tell you I spent years talking about how I wasn't gonna be cooking nothing, years. I would go to my godmother's house and eat up her food. One year I did help her cook, but I was like, I ain't hosting no Thanksgiving or cooking nothing. Like I'm not doing that. So
What you need me to bring? Ice? What?
right, I'm gonna be in the kitchen slaving all 2 days trying to fix no stuff and all right. So just to see my growth in that area and to hear them say how proud of me they are that I'm hosting and that now talking about doing this every year, it felt really, really good and just firm and confirmed and affirmed and validated me what I knew was already there as far as just seeing my own growth. So it just felt really good just to see me grow and mature in that area of just cooking and being more of, I guess, like the homemaker because that was not me.
Yeah,
No me.
yeah. What do
So
you think that says about where you are in life? Like what are you what are you settling into, or what are you ready
yeah,
for, or what is the season, if you had a name for it, or how to describe it, or what to call it? Is that
yeah. That is so good. I just feel like I'm on my grown woman-ish. Like that's what it feels like. I think even though I'm in my 40s, I don't know that I've always felt the most mature. I think there was just a lot of maturing that I still needed to do. And so I really feel like I am settled into myself. Like there's an inner confidence, an inner peace, and I think it's just manifesting outward. So yeah, I'm just like, am I a grown woman? Freedom era, like I'm just doing what I want to do. So yeah, yeah.
what
So
I love about that for you is I have heard you talk about kind of the season before, maybe
mhm,
a season or two, but the seasons prior,
mhm.
where not only did you, not want to cook or anything, but that peace that you were talking about, just not
Yeah,
having your peace and having, whether it was drama or whatever involved in your life, to
yeah,
see you evolve from that to this, that
yeah,
peace is your portion, and
yeah.
freedom and joy and abundance. I
Mhm.
I am loving that for you. I really am. I really
Thank you. Thank you.
am.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I receive.
Our family, sister girl and cousin to me, Christina. I saw her over the holiday, and we saw her over the holiday. But she
Mhm,
has, and it's from somewhere. I just can't give the correct reference. But
mhm.
she, whatever she's talking about growth, she goes growth.
Grow.
So just so we're experiencing growth. I love that.
I love it. So, sister, what area or areas are you experiencing growth in your life?
Okay, great question. Because I love talking about growth
Mhm.
and facilitating conversations about growth. Because I feel like anyone, I always got to preach roundabout way of answering. But you make me think about so much when you ask me a question. I got
Yeah,
to get it all out.
that's all right. Take us to church. Go ahead.
It's so funny. But no, I love hearing other people and being in the middle of a conversation like that. I will start that kind of conversation in a minute because I
Mhm.
feel like people who feel like they don't need any growing, or if
Yeah.
they've done all the growing they need to do. I
Mhm.
just need to know that real quick and fast, so I know you are not my people and I
Yeah.
don't need to be around you. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so when I love these conversations. So I'm gonna flip mine a little bit,
Okay.
see if how this comes out. An area of growth for me has been over these last 3 or 4 years being more vocal about my inner transformation.
Okay.
I have so the first part of that was right before COVID, me making a decision not just to be a lover of and a student of yoga, but
Mhm.
become a yoga teacher.
Yeah.
And when I decided to do that, it was really to deepen my own practice of yoga so that I
Mm-hmm.
could understand it better because of all of these thoughts that people will put into your head about yoga. I really enjoyed the practice of yoga. And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted what came with the teaching was the philosophy and the history and all. I wanted to know all of that for myself directly. And
Mm-hmm.
but what ended up coming out of that was I actually began to teach yoga. And
Yeah.
so to be able to invite people to the studio to a to practice with me as I led a session,
Mm-hmm.
to share publicly or on social media or verbally in conversation the benefits of yoga
Mm-hmm.
and how it's benefited me, and I think it could benefit others. It was such a courageous moment for me. And I didn't even know how courageous
Mm-hmm.
because I knew I was going to be sharing a bit more about myself than I had shared before. And I knew in my own life how controversial yoga had been to some
Yeah.
people in religious circles.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tell you, they came from the north, the south, the east, and the west to tell me how wrong I was and how demonic it was and how condemned I was for doing it. And I should know
Mm.
better because I'm leading people to hell. And I mean, it was
Mm.
crazy.
Mm.
So just to figure out how to use my words
Yeah.
to share. Basically, first of all, I'm not asking you to do anything. Like, I'm not trying to convince you of
Yeah.
anything. It's something I'm choosing to do. So you don't have anything to do with that. Bless your heart.
Right.
Um, and secondly, I one of the songs I wrote, I love Jesus and yoga, and I don't believe
Mhm.
that they are mutually exclusive.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
um, to find my words as I and don't shrink back in
Yeah.
my living out loud. That's
Mhm.
what I'm most proud of as far as my growth is concerned. Because
Mhm.
the other part of this, and you know this as my sister, is I could have chosen to just project the piece of me that is agreeable with those
Right.
people, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
I can still have all of these feelings and all of these thoughts and keep
Mhm.
them to myself and
Yeah.
still just, preach and sing exactly the way and the what you want me to say.
Exactly. Yep.
And I just decided I choose not to do that because this is real to me and it means something to me and it's done something positive for me. And in
Mhm.
the way that I've always tried to serve others, I'm going to be honest about what's helping me because it might help somebody else.
Yeah.
So that was a long way to go about it, but that's been probably the biggest area of growth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And being your sister, to be able to witness some of those conversations, like just recently, you were able to share your yoga journey, and I loved how you approached the conversation with the person because they were a little hesitant or resistant to yoga, and you simply said, "Do you mind if I share my yoga journey with you or my yoga story?" And I love that. And you're very knowledgeable about it. You have studied it, like you said, to become a yoga instructor, you have to know about it. And so the way that you were able to break it down for her, and I think it was definitely in a way that she was able to understand and probably gained a little bit of knowledge for herself to understand that it's not just this demonic, creepy, ritual that people do that's inviting in spirits. Like, it can really be a great way to connect with God on a different level, and just to help just invite your own inner healing.
Yeah.
And so I just love the way that you are confident in that and just able to share it and just educate people. And if they don't agree with it, you're like, okay, God bless you, but I'm gonna do this though.
Yeah, yeah. And,
Yeah.
and, and I think the area, thank you for that.
Mhm.
I think the growth piece for me has been over time worrying less about how they receive it,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
I could do it and still have a whole lot of inner angst on
Right.
how it would be received. But at this point, I'm like, you know what? All of us have areas where we need to grow.
Yeah.
And maybe this area of growth for me will help soil
Mm,
your area of growth. You know,
yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
it will help water your
Hmm.
area of growth. And I'm so glad I said that because in Real Women, because we're bringing you all into our circle, right? We talked
Hmm.
about growing pains
Yeah.
and the fact that what ends up happening with growth is it doesn't always feel good. It
Hmm.
isn't always tickling to the ear, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So some of us have grown. I feel like Shavon and just evolved and figured out, you know what? Because of me being more mature and having my place,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this and
Yeah.
see how it turns out. There's just
Yeah.
this kind of, it looks like opening of a flower or something,
Yeah.
right? Blooming
Hmm.
or blossoming. Um,
Hmm.
and then some of us have experienced, I think a couple of episodes we talked about, the butterfly and right before that in the cocoon, it's like growth happens because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh, like I'm fighting it the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Like what is happening to me?
Right.
And so I think some of that is we can help each other grow by honestly sharing our witness as it
Hmm.
relates to not evangelizing and proselytizing, but just really being a witness about what our growth looks like. And who knows, even someone who is resistant at some point, it
Hmm.
could be the seed that they need or the water that they need for their seed to grow. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I appreciate you saying that because it's one of the reasons why I'm so vocal about Real Women and just always talking about how amazing this organization is, because I believe that being a part of Real Women over these past 10 years has been instrumental in my growth. Just sitting in circles with other women of all ages and listening to them share their stories and share nuggets of wisdom from different times in their life have really helped me, to grow and to look at things from a different perspective and to apply things to my life. And so, yeah, it's so important to be open, to receiving and just putting ourselves in places with other women or other people so that we can get some things too.
Can I say something too
Yeah.
about the circles?
Yeah.
Because what you said is so true. And what ends up happening is there are women who never planned on sharing anything
Yeah.
about their stories, nothing about themselves. They're like, I don't know these women. So
Yeah.
and so invited me, but I didn't know what I was getting invited to. And I'm just going to sit back and listen. And by the time they hear other people, something in them kind of wakes up. And
Yeah.
they're like, okay, either something clicked for me about my own life,
Mhm.
or I feel prompted to share this. And I'm not really sure why, but
Yeah.
I feel prompted to share it. I feel open and vulnerable enough to want to share. And what
Mhm.
they don't know is somebody's light bulb is going to click because they dared to share. It is this
Exactly.
wonderful cycle of growth that happens
Mhm.
because we're all in that circle together. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens every time, and I love to see it because they say the same thing every time. Now, see, why am I sharing all of this? Or I wasn't gonna come in here and say anything, but oh, I love it. Yeah, so you gotta experience it. If you're
Well,
listening, if you're watching, you have to experience a Real Women's Circle, because it'll bless your life. But
absolutely.
yeah. So thank you, sister, for talking with me about growth and just being able to acknowledge those areas where we are growing. And that's another reason why I wanted to talk about this, because sometimes many of us are so focused on what we're not doing and our weaknesses and what we need to improve on, especially when we're talking about, the personal development. But there are moments when I think we just need to celebrate where we are and where we've come from. So, yeah. So if you're listening, you're watching, think about those areas where you have grown. I know that you are not where you desire to be, but here is now. there is there.
Mhm.
It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And so look at your journey and see those areas where you have grown.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Woo. Okay. Please, one more.
Yes, yes.
This is so good. I told you I could talk about this forever, but I just wanted to add to what you just said because what we focus on is what gets our attention.
Yeah,
Right? So,
yeah.
and focusing on the negative or
Mhm.
what's not going right only warrants those negative feelings. Like it just grows the negativity.
Yep.
So to figure out a way to reframe our perspective and
Mhm.
focus more on what's going right. And maybe you need some help to do that. That's
Yeah.
why we're here, you know? So I'm so glad you said that because it really is a choice that we get to make
Mhm.
every day, every hour, every moment, in the moment, focus
Mhm.
on the now. So
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So definitely share with us your growth areas so that we can celebrate you as you are on your journey. Okay. So are you ready for our next segment, sister? We're going to get up out of this water.
I'm ready. I'm up.
Okay. Okay. And we're going to journey into put myself in her shoes.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. We have a good scenario today, and I really want to know your thoughts about this. Little different spin on how we usually do it, but one of the personalities that we love to watch and listen to, that chick Angel. She's an actress, she's a rapper, she is a mother, and all the things. Podcast host, all the things. And she put something out on social media recently where she planned a surprise trip for her husband. His name is Tank. And while they were on live, they had a live, so they do podcasting, and she does a podcast with her husband, and they do lives in their Patreon for a bonus episode. And during this episode, she revealed the surprise and let him know that he had 20 minutes to pack.
I
So,
listened to this. I didn't know this was coming, but I listened to this. So good.
so just like we're on right now, she told him in the moment, and it took everything within him to keep it together because he does not like surprises, those kind of surprises. So he was disheveled, he was frustrated because he doesn't like surprise being surprised like that. He likes to know things ahead of time so that he can plan, because he had already had his plans for the weekend, and this was like a weekend trip. And that chick Angel knew that he would be irritated initially, but she felt that it was all going to be worth it at the end of it, and he was going to be fine. So once he got to his destination, he realized what the surprise was, and he was good. She basically ended up flying him to Colorado so that he can go to a Colorado game where Deion Sanders is the coach. And so he really enjoyed himself, ended up surprising him with his best friend joining him. His wife did the same thing. So it was great. They had a good time male bonding with each other. So putting yourself in her shoes, how would you have handled planning a surprise for your husband? And then also putting yourself in Tank's shoes, how would you have responded in that situation?
Child. Listen, marriage is hard enough.
Right?
I,
Very
I
hard.
I annoy and irritate my husband enough to not publicly do something that I know is going to annoy him. So um but I think it's in context is important because we do love them and their podcast is this going to cause an argument, right?
Yeah, it is.
So
Yeah.
it seems like they are willing to go to the edge and just tread the edge. But when the microphone is off, y'all still got to go home together, and this might cause an argument that lasts longer than this podcast. No, son, no, not if you done told me. I'm just
Yeah.
putting myself in her shoes.
Uh-huh.
You told me don't do this to me. I
Yeah.
am not going to do this to you now.
Yeah.
Um, maybe perhaps I'm, thinking if something wasn't said explicitly, or if I
Yeah.
think there's a twist to it or something, or I might even unintentionally do something and I forgot, all of that is different than me
Yeah.
saying, I know he gonna be ticked off about this, but let me go ahead and put this. Girl, no.
Willing to risk it all.
We've been married for 24 years, and we don't have that much collateral deposit in the bank for me to just nope, 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 nope. So that's the first one. No. Um, let's see. If I were Tank, and not only did I see the moment, but I heard them talk about it afterward,
Uh-huh.
because basically what he said was, he was trying his best to hold it together and
Yeah.
to not look and act as irritated as he was in the moment. But then he
Mhm.
talked about it, and I'll be honest. I think if I were him, I think he held it together. I probably would have done as similar a job,
Yep.
because I have gotten to the point in my life where I don't like fake and phony.
Mhm.
So it would be really hard for me to be inauthentic about me really liking it if I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Um, but I think he bordered that as
Mhm.
well and as authentically as he could have,
Yeah. Mhm.
knowing how much he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my take. What's yours? Put yourself in her shoes.
I would say this one part about the what was happening in the moment. So
Mhm.
he went up and got up and started packing like right away.
Okay.
And he was still on camera and she's like, y'all, he is so mad. She whispering to the Patreon, he is so mad.
I ain't see all of that.
She was like, he's in the closet, and I know he probably cussing me out of his head, and he not saying nothing because I'm on live right now. But he gonna be all right. It's so funny because she knew he was mad. He was probably throwing the stuff in the suitcase and all of that, but he didn't say nothing. Oh, it's so funny. So if it were me, if I were surprising my significant other, and I know he doesn't like surprises,
Mhm.
um, I think I would be looking at the bigger picture of, but when he get it, he gonna be so excited. I think I would be looking at the end game.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I might have done it the way that she did it because
Mhm.
I know you probably just irritated with me right now, and you probably gonna ask me all these questions and just like you didn't have to do all this. I know, I get it, but once you get it, it's gonna be so good. So it would only be, if I know his reaction is going to be great. But typically, I wouldn't do something that I know he doesn't like.
Yeah.
Um, but for something like that, I probably would, because my guy, he's not really into surprises like that either.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would risk it. I would be willing to risk it, for.
Before you answer about him being him, I I have made the mistake of thinking just my husband hadn't said I don't like this or I don't like that, but me trying to guess what he
Yeah.
likes and
Hmm.
us going through the whole thing and
Hmm.
realizing by the end of it, like we took this trip to Pennsylvania and he really just wanted to go down the street, right? But
Okay.
I was like, no, but it's really nice. And we
Yeah.
get there, and I had never been to this lodge before, and it looked like and smelled like just old feet. I don't know. It was really bad, right? I thought online it looked a whole lot different than it was. And
Yeah.
so by the end of our time there, he was like, thank you. Like, like thanks, I think.
Right. I
So
think.
I would be nervous about what you just said about by the
Yeah.
end of it, it'll be wonderful. I'd be
Yeah.
thinking by the end of it, is he gonna be okay? So
Right. Right.
right.
I think it would have to be something that he's mentioned he wanted. Like
Yeah,
it would have to be something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Because that reaction is just to be like, thank you, maybe. Like that's
Right.
if I were Tank, I would be okay because I've never been surprised in that way. So it's like, oh, this is different, you know. I would just have a need a few minutes to adjust because I probably also had my weekend planned out what I was gonna do. But I think I would just kind of go with the flow. I'm a go with the flow type person anyway. So yeah, I think I would be okay with it.
And I'm glad you said that because I was taking it from if I were Tank and I was putting myself in his shoes,
Oh, gotcha.
not liking surprises.
Gotcha. Uh-huh.
But if I did it as me, if I put
Mhm.
all of me in his shoes,
Yeah.
I love stuff like that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
surprise me. I will
Yeah.
call my job tonight and
I
say, I'm off.
okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. But if I were him in that situation, I would feel some type of way, but I would probably handle it the same way that he did because it's like, okay, I would try to think about, all right, he's really trying to do something for me. I don't want to spoil his moment.
Sure.
So let me just do what he said. And then this better be good though. Nah,
Mhm.
this better be good. And if it ain't, I'm gonna tell you about it. But yeah. So I would try to just hush my mouth and go pack my stuff and we see how it turns out. Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm. Woo,
Yes.
that was fun.
Uh-huh. So y'all listening, watching, let us know what you would do on both sides, how you would handle that situation. But it was fun. It all worked out. He was fine. He was smiling. And so it was great.
Yay.
All right. So we are in our last segment, a spiritual nugget where we inspire, encourage, and uplift you. So, sister, do you have anything for us today?
Woo, this came so fast. This was
I
such a
know.
good one. It was so lively and upbeat.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what comes to mind, but I am curious to see because you had so many growth moments in this
Hmm.
thing comes to mind for you. The one thing that comes to mind for me is um, don't limit where your growth comes from.
Mm.
That your the expectation of where you grow or how you grow or how it comes to you. Um, God might have a totally different avenue
Mm.
of growth for you. You felt like I will never be the cooker. I am never going to host Thanksgiving, but because that evolved for you, you're discovering a whole new sense of you and your home and who you are as a result of that. And I honestly never saw myself as a yoga teacher.
Mhm.
That is not something. I got a whole lot of things on my list, but that was not one of them. And to have that added to my list has been a gift
Mm.
to my life and to others. There are others who have said because of you being vocal about your journey, it has blessed me. And I've taken a journey and decided to do something similar or even in some other area.
Mhm.
So the unexpected areas can also produce growth. Um, and even this whole fun scenario as it relates to Marcus Tanksley and that chick Angel, just the idea. Let me venture and try something that maybe I previously said I didn't like or I
Mhm.
didn't want to do because who knows, right? Who knows where the other side of this opportunity or this experience, who knows where that will take me. And
Yeah.
so growth can happen in ways that you don't expect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's so good. Something else that comes to me when it relates to growth is give yourself permission to see your life from a bird's eye view because you may be in a period in your life where you don't feel like you've grown much.
Mhm.
But I guarantee that if you look up, from a higher altitude and look over your life, there are some areas where you've grown. I guarantee you'll find something. So I just encourage you to see yourself as bigger in your life, as bigger than this moment, so that you can recognize where you are and how far you've grown, how much you've grown.
Sister, proof of that bird's eye view. You made
Mm-hmm.
the baby leap inside of me when you said that, because
Mm-hmm.
proof of that, you are the football girl. Like, a lot of people think that the best seats in a football stadium are right at the 50-yard line, because
Mm-hmm.
you see
Mm-hmm.
some famous people there, maybe, or you might be able to catch a football at that place. You get to see the players run across real up close and personal.
Mm-hmm.
In a basketball arena, they think right there at courtside is the best seat. Or if
Mm-hmm.
you're a theater person like me, they think right in the front row are the best seats because you can see everything right up close. But what
Mm-hmm.
you don't realize is having something right in front of you at your eye level, you are missing so much stuff. And so in a football stadium or in a
Mm-hmm.
basketball arena, the best seats are really not right there on the
Yeah.
field or at the court. They are
Mm-hmm.
in the owner's boxes
Yes.
all the way up at the top, because they get to see not just what's right in front of them, but the entire field
Everything.
or
Mm-hmm.
the entire court. And
Mm-hmm.
in the theater, there are box seats up at the top so that you can see a lot of what's going on the stage and not
Mm-hmm.
just what's in front of you. And
Mm-hmm.
so, Habakkuk talks about in the Bible that all of this calamity seems to be happening around me in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, but I will climb up my watchtower and
Yeah.
so that I can see what you see, God,
Yeah.
So I love that you said that.
That is so good. So good. So yeah, just climb to a higher altitude so that you can see how your life really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was so good. This was a good episode.
Oh my goodness, y'all. So this has been another episode of Real Women, Real Talk. And we are indeed real women.
And real women talk.
Yes, yes, we do all day, every day.
Mhm.
All right, y'all. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.
Bye, y'all.